Hey guys, welcome to the Marvelous Podcast. It's Kirsten. Whew, how are you doing today? I'm so glad you guys are enjoying these new podcast episodes. At least I think you are. I hope you are. The downloads are skyrocketing, which means there's people listening and y'all are sharing it out. So thank you for that. It's always scary to make transitions. It's scary to make changes because we are creatures of habit. And when we change those habits, it feels uncomfortable. And sometimes we start to wonder if we're doing it wrong only because it's unfamiliar to us, right? Do you guys do this? You fall into the trap where you're like, well, I don't recognize this feeling. What is this feeling so sudden and new? And we start to immediately label it as bad. And we start to question everything and all the results that are going to happen from the shift that we made in our behaviors. But it's funny because as we're going through our old habits that were comfortable to us, we don't ever question how that's going to end up. We don't ever wonder if those things that we're choosing every day are actually going to lead us to anywhere bad. Maybe we do. Maybe you're in a situation where you're like, every single choice I make is scary because I don't know if I just screwed up my whole entire future. And if I would have gone to the left side of the drive-thru at McDonald's, things would have turned out differently if I hadn't gone to the right side. Do you guys remember, I don't know if you ever watched this movie. It's kind of a crazy one with Gwyneth Paltrow a long time ago called Sliding Doors. I watched this movie, I think in a film study class in college, and it rocked my world because I was like, oh my gosh, at any given time, the choices we're making can take us down a totally different road. And that's kind of something that I think about and struggle with because I'm in a state of life where I'm trying to change a lot of habits at the same time. Now, I'm not talking about like trying to lose weight while also running a 10K and building a new business, but some of those things. I'm trying to be healthy. I'm trying to homeschool my kids. I'm trying to make changes to my business. I'm trying to grow a few new businesses. And all of it is happening at the same time. And the discomfort level that I've been having sometimes becomes crippling. And it honestly puts me into the mode of, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, am I being crazy right now and changing this much about my life? And I'm not here to be an advocate for like, change everything, throw all your habits out the window. But I was actually recording some episodes for the Strategy Masters podcast that I do with my husband. And one of the things I do on Thursdays is I recap books that I have read. And I was talking about the book Outwitting the Devil. And then I saw this video feed come up on my Instagram from somebody I follow who's a transformational life coach, which I love. And I've taken his program and it's great. And so between those two things, I started thinking about, am I being a drifter? Am I drifting through my life with these same habits that I don't even realize I'm not choosing anymore because they've become so ingrained in my reality? And it kind of sent me down a spiral this morning. I'm not going to lie. It was a rough morning because I didn't choose for it to be rough, but at the same time, I guess I did. Daylight savings happened this weekend. And I don't know about you guys, but it takes me like a week to catch up. It's like going in a different time zone. I don't know why it's so difficult because I don't think it's different than just going to a different time zone where everything in your life is thrown off. This is trying to function in the normal schedule that you used to be in, but with a totally different clock, right? Because I normally am up by 7 o'clock with the kids, but now it's 8 o'clock and I feel guilty because I'm like, I'm a sloth. I've been in bed till 8. But really, my body's still like, girlfriend, it's still like 7 in the morning and we don't get up this early, right? Or at 7 o'clock, it's like, it's still 6. What are you thinking? And so I have been a little bit behind every day this week, and it's been feeling really frustrating. And so this morning, as I was getting ready it was like 9:45 in the morning, and I hadn't done any of the homeschool with the kids. I hadn't done anything in business. I had basically, my highest accomplishment of the day was to get dressed. That was it. And we read scriptures as a family. So I guess there was those two things, right? We totally need to give ourselves more credit for these basic things that are very important. But they don't feel glamorous, right? Anyway, so I'm getting my shoes on because it's time for me to go to Sonic to get a Diet Coke. Now listen, I have broken my Diet Coke addiction in the past. I'm not professing to say that it's a good thing, but I'm also at a point in my life where I can't obsess over it because I'm obsessed with some other things. That's a total limiting belief because I could choose to give up Diet Coke and have the life I want. And I kind of started shaming myself, and this never works, you guys, by the way. You can't shame yourself out of a habit. You can't say you're such a terrible, stupid idiot. If you just gave up the Diet Coke, you'd have a better quality of life. That doesn't work because it's a different part of your brain that's communicating with you, and it's the habit part that doesn't want you to break the habit. And the part that does needs to come from a deeper place of the logic, because you can talk yourself out of that habit change, right? It has to come from a place of conviction with an identity shift. You have to shift to an identity of someone who doesn't drink Diet Coke, or someone who walks in the morning, or somebody who goes running, or somebody who's a millionaire. So that's a whole other concept we can dive into for hours and hours and hours on end. But today, what I found myself doing was shaming myself for a decision I knew I was going to make anyway, and having this internal battle going back and forth on what I should and shouldn't do. Now, at the end, the habit won, right? Like I I transform my life to fit this habit. And I want to say it's not just about the Diet Coke. It's about the leaving the house. It's this routine that I love. And honestly, it's gotten better because I don't do it every single day. There are days when I don't go. If there's cans in the fridge, I don't go. I'm just kidding, but kind of serious. But anyway, I go not just for the drink. I go for the escape. I go for the mommy break. I also go and I kind of meditate in my car while I'm there. I have me time. I read, I study, I meditate, I write in my journal. So to me, it's this battle of like, can't I find a healthier place to do this? And also like, Kirsten, you're still trying to do a good thing. You can't change everything overnight. But it's such a rut that we fall into with realizing how much needs to be a conscious decision. And the rut that we're in is when we fail to acknowledge that. We fail to realize that the things we have right now are a direct result of the choices we're making, and they are choices. It is not just stuff happening to you. You choose when to open your eyes and wake up in the morning. Like you might think, no, I don't know what's going to happen. Yes, you do, because you could choose to set an alarm, or you can choose to wake up whenever the sun comes up or your kids wake you up. That was still a choice. It was a choice to be intentional or a choice to be reactive to the circumstances in your life. And we get really frustrated because we want things to be different. And yet when it's time to make these shifts and these changes in our behavior, we don't want to do it because it starts to feel wrong and we start to feel overwhelmed by it. And we start thinking, I shouldn't have to change so much to have the life that I want. Why can't I just have my slothful ways and have massive success at the same time? This is something I think I've seen a lot of people experience where they want to keep those habits. They want to hold on really tight to the way of life that they have, but yet they're complaining that they don't have more. It's a huge trap that so many of us are in. So my message today, I guess, is don't shame yourself, but you need to have awareness and acknowledgement that everything you are creating in your life is a conscious decision, whether you think it is or not. Actually, they're not all conscious. Most of your things that you have and do are subconscious. They're unconscious. You're just going through these motions. If you wake up tomorrow, pay attention to every action that you take. Start having awareness for what you're doing and realize that there is so much more going on that you're not taking control of than the things that you are. And don't be afraid to shift out of it. Don't be afraid to change gears. Don't be afraid to change a habit. And when it's uncomfortable, don't immediately associate that with a pain thing. Don't think this is wrong because it's uncomfortable and it's a sign and I shouldn't be doing it. Obviously, you have your own intuition and you have your own gut reaction to things, but I think a lot of times we run and hide and we run scared in the other direction because we don't want to be uncomfortable. That's the survival in us. We don't want to be uncomfortable. But a lot of times we have to be this, it's kind of a perception, right? The discomfort is only a frame of mind and it's only based on your limited view because what's uncomfortable to me might not be uncomfortable to you. So it's not an actual real thing. It's like fear. Fear is not actually real. It can't eat you. But it definitely feels real, and we dictate so much of our lives by fear. So with our circumstances, with feeling uncomfortable, understand that that is only a story that's happening in your brain. Unless you're actually on fire or you're being stabbed, like you are not feeling real discomfort. You're just uneducated or unaware about this way of doing something. Okay, so hopefully you're not reading into that in any strange ways. I'm like trying to think through, we live in such a generation where I'm like, is this like not politically correct in any way, shape, or form? Is somebody going to be offended by this? I don't know, but I guess that's just you being uncomfortable with something that you don't have the same perspective as me on, right? Okay, so that's my thought for you today. That was just kind of the tangent of mine that I was on. You know, it's really fun to create content when you're inspired. I like sitting down to do these episodes. In fact, last week I was going to pump out this week's episode while I was already at the computer, and I just didn't feel it. I was just like, I don't know what I need to share right now, and I don't want to create from that space when I don't feel inspired. So on that note, actually, inside the business group that I have with my husband, it's called Business Haven. Who doesn't want to be a part of a group where it's like a haven? It just sounds peaceful. In that group, we do free trainings every month. And this month's training is actually an inspired content creation training. So if you're creating content for any reason, you want to share, you want to make a bigger impact on people, you want to share something that you're passionate about, or you have a business, but you feel like in order to stay on top of things, you need that consistency, but yet the consistency needs to still matter. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you go to schedule posts on social media, but you're like, I don't know what I'm going to feel like 2 days from now. It's like trying to pick a restaurant when you're not hungry for 3 days from now. I have no idea what my stomach's going to be in the mood for on Thursday because today's Monday, right? And so we do the same thing with our content creation, and we can fall into that rut where we don't know how to connect with people on that human level because we don't feel the inspiration right now. So this course, this training that we're giving you guys for free inside Business Haven, you only can access it if you're in the group. So if you want to go to Facebook and search it, you can. And if you're building a business at all, this is really valuable for you. It's a really great group, and we're giving so much training and so much good content. But anyway, that's the training for this month, is inspired content, to really help you look at the past, present, and future differently so that you can create content that inspires you, that therefore inspires other people. Okay? So we'll just wrap this on up, and I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to today's episode. Leave me a comment on Instagram, screenshot the episode, share it out with your friends, let them know what you guys thought about it. Let me know if you agree, if you feel the same way. I would love to see your thoughts, hear your thoughts, feel your thoughts. Tag me in your stories, tag me on your feed, wherever you want to tag me. I'll show up and I'll leave some comments and we'll have a great conversation. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys on next week's episode. Have a marvelous day.